people who have conducted job interviews, what's something someone said or did that made you instantly decide not to hire them?
I've done a number of interviews at a major financial services firm and was hiring for first-year associates. Question: tell me about a time you had to work with people who were different than you or had different skill sets, and how did you work around that? Answer: well, my last job had a lot of Asians, and they were pretty hard to understand. I had to stop for a second to make sure I had heard that correctly. Also, on another question, she simply said, pass, as if that were an option.
I honestly have respect for the pass comment. I'd never do it and wouldn't hire someone who did, but I respect it. Jesus, these answers. Why the hell am I struggling to find a job?
I was the second person doing interviews for a lab position. A current employee with a chemistry degree from a local university did not know one end of the pH scale from the other. She had a bachelor's in science.
She sat down, plunked her purse on the desk, and started with, I need to let you know I have issues. Brought their parents to sit in on the interview to make sure I am fair in my decision-making process. I had a candidate reveal classified information about their work at their previous employer during an interview. No way were we going to trust them with our stuff.
Had a guy show up to a design interview with my work in his portfolio.
The person was literally running every question through an AI and reading the output to me via Zoom. At the end, I asked him if he had any questions for me. He said, yeah, that sign on the front door, is that a rule or more of a guideline? I was confused, I said. Push to enter? Probably a rule. That's how doors work. He said, no, the one that says no guns allowed on premises. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of dressed like a cowboy. I hadn't noticed, but then I did. Cowboy boots, a western-ish vest. He went on, I have holsters all over. For me, putting on my guns in the morning is like putting on my underwear. Important lesson here is never mention your guns or underwear in a first interview. I thanked him for his time and escorted him out. Had a woman come in and start going through everything wrong with the coworkers at her previous place of employment. All of them, as far as I could tell. As she left, I advised her not to do that in her next interview, and she seemed to get it. I wasn't the one conducting, but I had a job interview for a driving position. Well, in the parking lot before the job interview, I accidentally rear-ended the manager's car. Safe to say, I didn't get the job. She brought her boyfriend, and the boyfriend was answering all the questions. In a behavioral interview assessing leadership skills, etc. Question: did you enjoy having an intern? Answer: oh yes, I was able to offload lots of work to him. Not a word about mentoring, collaborating, or anything else. Back when I was in corporate, a candidate for a middle management role walked into our conference room and before a handshake or an introduction, asked if I was there to take notes for the boys' meeting. Suffice it to say, the interview didn't get much better from there.
I've had some version of this story more than once. One time, I was interviewing someone to work in a role that directly reported to me. I asked the candidate to describe his most challenging work experience and how he handled it. He went into detail about how he didn't like taking direction from his last female boss, how he knew more about what to do than she did, and how he handled it was by going over her head to her boss. Customer service job. Guy said he didn't like dealing with people or customers, then proceeded to talk trash about a customer he dealt with at a previous job. I see on your application you attended Central High School. My mother is a teacher there. Oh? Who is your mom? Mrs. Bronco. She teaches mathematics. Oh, yeah, I know her. She's a bitch. When asked why they thought they were qualified for the job, they replied that they weren't. But it was okay because the position was not a career goal for them. They only needed it to pay bills while they found something else. It was a teaching position. When asked about how he had handled issues with managers in the past, he started by describing the age, ethnicity, and weight of his manager. Beyond irrelevant. That's going to be a number. I once interviewed a flat earther who admitted in the interview within the first 10 minutes that the main reason he wanted to work in aviation was to be closer to airplanes so he could prove they were holograms, since clearly they shouldn't be able to fly since the Earth is flat. To this day, I'm not sure if he was just trying to show someone, hey, look, I'm applying for jobs. I do not know why they all say no, or if he genuinely believed it. But either way, I let the interview go on for like an hour and let him just rant his little heart out. Ended up going in a different direction.
He pulled his pants down to his knees to fix or tuck in his shirt. Didn't break eye contact with me as he stood up to do it.
Told about how he stole goods from a store he worked at, put them in his buddy's car, called the cops so his buddy would get arrested, then slept with his buddy's girlfriend while the buddy was in jail. All this was in response to the question, tell us about a time when you had an ethical dilemma. What did you do, and what was the outcome? Apparently, his buddy was cheating him on their shared drug business, and so he told us what he did when his best friend wasn't splitting the profits 50-50.
There were several. The company was a defense contractor selling widgets to the US military. The candidate gave me a lecture about the evil American empire and how it was everyone's moral duty to stop it. He bragged about his time at another company and the project he had completed single-handedly. The problem was that I had worked at that company at that time and was in charge of that project. I had never heard of him. Turns out he was hired a year after I left. He was literally taking credit for something I did. The candidate claimed to have a degree from the University of New Jersey. He even showed me a Xerox copy of his diploma. There is no University of New Jersey. Our state university is Rutgers. He asked if the HR manager's breasts were real or if she had had some work done.
From the TV series Community, I thought you have a degree from Columbia University. Yeah, and now I need to get one from America. Interviewing for an IT position, I asked a basic question about virus removal. Oh, I don't know, my husband does that. Well then, tell him to apply. I'm not good enough. I'd like to end the interview. I told them that it was just nerves and everything would be okay and we could continue and see where the discussion goes, but they were adamant that they were overwhelmed and wanted to end the interview. So we did. Poor lass. Candidate kept boasting about how many languages he speaks, even though it was not a requirement for the position. Finally, I asked him in which foreign language he was most fluent, and he replied, Spanish. I followed up with a simple question asked in Spanish. He did not speak Spanish.
Described former colleagues as bitches within 15 minutes of the interview starting. I ended it immediately.
In general, trash-talking any previous job or people. You can tell me that story at lunch after you're hired and we'll laugh about it, but leading with it makes me question your judgment in general.
I work in healthcare analytics. Mid-interview, it was virtual, as they were from another region. They shared their screen to demonstrate the type of work they were currently doing, which we did not ask for, and she did not ask us if she could share her screen. And the screen she showed us had clear patient identifiers, health card numbers, and so on. We immediately shut that down. Patient privacy and data security are absolutely paramount, and that level of cavalier treatment of sensitive patient information immediately disqualified her from being considered. And we had to submit a report to their institution afterwards.
I left my last job because they said I was the primary suspect in $20,000 going missing at Toys R Us. I didn't mind leaving because they worked me like a Hebrew slave. He seemed generally irritated at being interviewed by me. He wanted the man in charge, and I am a woman. In the end, I asked if there was anything else he wanted to tell me, or that would be relevant regarding his qualifications. He said, yeah, I'm a man, so people listen to what I have to say. That's how things get done. He did not get hired.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.